And so the following evening, I brought Jim home for dinner. Now, I had known Jim slightly in high school, and he was the only one at the warehouse with whom I was on friendly terms. I was valuable to him as somebody who could remember his former glory, who had seen him win the basketball games and the silver cup in debating. He knew of my secret practice of retiring to a cabinet of the washroom to work on poems whenever business in the warehouse was slack. He called me Shakespeare. And while the other boys regarded me with suspicious hostility, Jim took a humorous attitude toward me. Gradually, his attitude began to affect the other boys, and their hostility wore off. So they began to smile at me, too, as people smile at some oddly fashioned dog as it trots across their path in the distance. I knew that Jim and Laura had known each other in high school, for I had heard Laura speak admiringly of Jim's voice. I didn't know if Jim had remembered her, for in high school, Laura had been as unobtrusive as Jim had been astonishing. And if he did remember her, it was not as my sister, for when I asked him over to dinner, he said, "Funny thing, Shakespeare, I never thought of you as having folks." Well, he was about to discover that I did.
Why are you trembling so, Laura?
Oh, Mother, you've made me so nervous.
Oh, why have I made you nervous?
By all this fuss, you make it seem so important.
I don't know. Every time I try to do something nice for you, you just carry on. Now, look at yourself in the glass. Oh, isn't that lovely?
You make it seem as though we were set in a trap.
Well, we are. All women are traps, and men want them to be traps. Now, look at yourself. You look like an angel on a postcard. So lovely. Well, I am going to go get dressed, and you're going to be astonished at your mother's appearance. I found an old dress in the trunk, but what do you know? I had to do a lot to it, but it broke my heart when I had to let it out. Now look at your mother, Laura. Laura! Look at your mother.
Oh, Mother, how lovely.
I led the cotillion in this dress. I won the cakewalk twice, once at the governor's ball. You should have seen how your mother just sashayed around. Well, we had dances every night and picnics and in spring country rides in the afternoon. All so lovely, lovely in May, with dogwood lacy and simply flooded with jonquils. Whenever I saw them, I said, "Wait a minute, I see jonquils." And my gentleman callers would have to get out of the carriage and help me gather up some. Oh, well, I'd just spend the afternoon with those jonquils. She'd say, "Mother," I'd say, "Mother, just because you don't have any vases, I can still gather them up." I hear thunder, gee. I wonder when they're going to arrive. Oh my goodness, before it starts to rain, I gave your brother some change so that he and Mr. Connor could go on the streetcar.
Mother.
Oh, what is it now?
What did you say his name was?
O'Connor. That's what I guess. O'Connor.
And what was his first name?
Well, I don't really remember. I think it was Jim. Yes, that's what it is, Jim.
Oh, Mother, no, not Jim O'Connor.
Yes, I believe it was Jim. I've never known a Jim that it wasn't nice.
Are you sure his name was Jim O'Connor?
I'm sure.
There was a Jim O'Connor we both knew back in high school, Tom and I. Oh, if he is the one that Tom is bringing over for dinner, Mother, I'd have to be excused. I couldn't come to the table.
What sort of silly talk is that?
Mother...
You mean that boy in the yearbook?
Yes, don't you remember?
Laura, were you in love with that boy?
I don't know, Mother. All I know is that I couldn't sit at the table if it was him.
It won't be him. It's not the least likely it will be him, and you will not be excused from that table. Now, whether it is not, you will come to the table and you will not be excused.
I'll have to be, Mother.
Look, I don't intend to humor your silliness. Laura, I've had too much from your brother. Both. Just sit down and compose yourself until they come. Tom has forgotten his keys, so you'll have to let them in.
Oh, Mother, please, you answer the door.
No, honey, be reasonable. I haven't even finished the mayonnaise dressing yet.
Mother, please, you answer the door. Don't make me do it.
This is just one gentleman caller, just one. That there's no problem. Now, you're going to answer that door.
Mother, please, you go to the door. Please.
Laura, there's the door. Now go.
Mother, you go to the
No,
door.
why have you chosen this moment to do this? You have to go to the door.
I can't.
Why can't you?
I'm sick.
I'm sick. You're sick. You and your brother have had me puzzled today. You can never act like normal children. Now, will you give me one good reason why you should be afraid to go to that door? Laura Wingfield, march right to that door. Now, I've got to put courage in you for living.
Yes, Mother.
Laura, this is Jim. Jim, this is my sister, Laura.
Well, I didn't know Shakespeare had a sister. How are you, Laura?
How do you do?
Well, I'm okay. Your hands are cold, Laura.
Yes. Well, I've been playing the Victrola.
Well, you must have been playing some classical music on it. Or you ought to play some hot swing to warm you up. Oh, what's the matter?
Oh, Laura? Laura is terribly shy.
Oh, shy. Well, did you know it's unusual to meet a shy girl nowadays? I don't believe you ever mentioned you had a sister.
Well, now you know I have one. You want a piece of the paper?
Oh,
Comics.
Comics. Sports. Well, I see that Dizzy Dean is on his bad behavior.
Really?
Yeah. Well, hey, where are you going?
Oh, just out on the terrace to smoke.
Oh. Well, you know, Shakespeare, I'm gonna sell you a bill of goods.
What goods?
Well, a course I'm taking.
What course?
It's a course in public speaking. Now, you and me, we are not the warehouse type.
Huh. That is good news, but what does that got to do with public speaking?
Well, it fits you for executive positions. I tell you, it's done a hell of a lot for me.
In what respect?
Well, in all respects. Now, you've got to ask yourself, what's the difference between you and me and the guys in the office down front? Now, you think it's brains? No. Ability? No. Then what? Primarily, it amounts to just one single thing.
Now, what is that one thing?
Social poise. the ability to square up to anyone and hold your own on any social level.
Tom,
Yes, Mother.
is that you and Mr. O'Connor?
Yes, Mother.
Make yourselves comfortable.
We will.
Would you ask Mr. O'Connor if he would like to wash his hands?
No, thank you, ma'am. I took care of that down at the warehouse. Tom.
Huh?
Mr. Mendoza was speaking to me about you.
Favorably?
What do you think?
Well,
You're going to be out of a job if you don't wake up.
I'm waking up.
Yeah, but you show no signs.
Signs are interior. I'm just about to make a change. Now, I'm right at the point of committing myself to a future that doesn't involve the warehouse or Mr. Mendoza or even a night school course in public speaking.
Now, what are you gassing about?
I'm tired of the movies.
The movies.
Yes, the movies. Look at them. All those glamorous people having adventures, hogging it all, just gobbling the whole thing up. People go to the movies instead of move in. Hollywood characters are supposed to have all the adventures for everybody in America, while everybody in America sits in a dark room and just watches them have it. Yes, or until there's a war. Well, that's when adventure becomes available to the masses. Everybody's dish, not only Gable's. And then the people sitting in the dark room come out of the dark room and just go off to have an adventure themselves. Oh, goody, goody. It's our turn now to go off to the South Sea Island, to make a safari, to be exotic, far off. But I'm not patient. I don't want to wait till then. I'm tired of the movies and I'm about to move.
Move?
Yes,
Well, when?
soon.
Where? Where?
I'm starting to boil inside. I know, I seem dreamy, but inside, I'm boiling. Whenever I pick up a shoe, I shudder a little, thinking about how short life is and what that means. Whatever that is, I know it does not mean shoes, except as something to wear on a traveler's feet. Look,
What?
I'm a member.
The Union of Merchant Seamen.
I paid my dues this month instead of the electric light bill.
Well, you'll regret that when they turn off the lights.
I won't be here.
Well, yeah, but how about your mother?
I'm like my father, the bastard son of a bastard. You see how he grins? And he's been absent going on 16 years.
You're just talking, you drip. Well, how does your mother feel about all this?
Shh! Here comes Mother. She's not acquainted with any of my plans.
Tom,
Yes, Mother.
is that you and Mr. O'Connor?
Yes, Mother. Go inside. Why, Mother? You look so pretty.
Why, I think that's the first compliment you ever gave me, and you should look a little friendlier when you're giving me that compliment. But that's all right. Mr. O'Connor!
How do you do,
Oh,
ma'am?
I've heard so much about you. I said to my son Tom, well, if you've talked so much about this, Mr. O'Connor, paragon that he is down at the warehouse, you should invite him home to dinner. And you know, he just doesn't have any southern hospitality, does he? Well, I think that instead of singing any praises, we should just sit down. Tom, why don't you just put a little air there so we can get some fresh air. It's a little warm in here.
Mother, how about our supper?
Oh, wow, Laura has been making supper. Why don't you ask Laura? She's in charge of supper. Tell her your hungry boys are ready for supper.
Yes, Mother.
Did you meet Laura?
Well, she came to the door.
She's pretty, isn't she?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Well, it's rare for a girl as sweet and as pretty as Laura to be domestic. Oh, Laura's very domestic. I am not domestic at all. I can't even make anything except an angel food cake. Well, when I was a girl, we lived in the South, and I lived on a big plantation with lots and lots of servants, and gone, all the vestige of Southern living, gone. Well, what am I going on about I was supposed to marry a planter, but I didn't. Man proposes and woman accepts. To vary that old saying, I married no planter. I married a man who works for the telephone company, that gallantly smiling man up there. Telephone man who fell in love with long distance. Now he travels, and I don't even know where. But what am I going on for? My trip. Tom!
Yes, Mother?
What about supper?
Why, supper is on the table.
Oh, so it is. How lovely. Laura!
Yes, Mother.
Mother, Laura isn't feeling too well and thinks that she better not come to the table this evening.
Mr. Connor, sit
thank you,
down.
ma'am. Thank you.
Laura, come to the table. You have to say grace.
Oh, Mother,
Oh,
I'm so sorry.
she lay her down on the couch there. You are sick. Well, you know, she was standing over a hot stove and the heat and everything. Just sit down.
Oh,
Tom, how's she doing?
She's better now, Mother.
Well, Tom, you're going to have to say grace.
What?
A grace. You know what we say before we eat?
For these and all thy mercies, God's holy name be praised.
Mr. O'Connor, I've had such a wonderful evening. It was so exciting tonight. Haven't had such a nice one in a long time.
Oh, well, let me give you a toast, Mrs. Wingfield.
Oh, a toast.
Here's to the Old South.
To the Old South.
Oh, hey. Mr. Lightbulb.
Where was Moses when the lights went out? Do you know that one, Mr. O'Connor?
No, ma'am. What's the answer to that one?
Well, I heard one thing once, but it wasn't very nice. I thought maybe you'd know another one.
No, ma'am.
Well, I'm happy I put this candelabra out here because now it can serve a purpose other than ornamentation. Do you have, either of you gentlemen have a match?
Oh, yes, ma'am. I can provide.
Okay. Well, I'm just glad I put this candelabra on there. Oh, that's good. That's good. Well, must be a burnt-out fuse. Do you know anything about burnt-out fuses?
Oh, well, I know a little bit about them, ma'am. But where's the fuse box?
In the kitchen. Oh, be careful, it's dark. Oh, I hope we didn't lose him. Oh, well, electricity is such a mysterious thing. You know, the whole universe is mysterious to me. Wasn't it Benjamin Franklin who tied a key to a kite? Well, I'd like to have seen that. He might have looked mighty silly. But people say that science clears all the mysteries up, but in my opinion, they just keep adding on. Have you found it yet?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I found it all right. But them fuses look okay to me.
Tom,
Yes, Mother.
that light bill I gave you several days ago, the one that I got the notice about,
Oh, yes, you mean last month's bill?
you didn't neglect it by any chance?
Well, I
Yeah, well, I guess you did. I might have known it.
Well, maybe Shakespeare wrote a poem on the back of that light bill, Miss Wingfield.
Well, we'll just have to spend the rest of the evening in the 19th century. Well, it was very nice of them to wait at least until we finished our dinner before they plunged us into eternal darkness.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Tom, as a penalty for your carelessness, you can help me with the dishes.
Well, can I be of some help, ma'am?
No, that's all right.
Well, I ought to be good for something.
Oh, what did you say?
I just said I ought to be good for something.
Oh, well, then Laura's all in the front room by her lonesome.
Oh.
Well, why don't you take this candelabrum, and we'll give her a little Oh, no. Dandelion wine. Oh, my chompers. You think you can handle them both?
Well, I can try, ma'am. How are you feeling now? Any better?
Yes, thank you.
Well, this is for you. It's just a little dandelion wine.
Thank you.
Well, drink it, but don't get drunk. Say, where'll I put the candles?
Oh, anywhere.
Oh, how about right here on the floor? Any objections?
No.
All right. Well, I'll just put a newspaper under it to catch the drippings. There we go. Say, I like to sit on the floor. You mind if I do?
Oh, no.
Would you give me a pillow?
What?
A pillow.
Oh.
Thank you. What about you? Don't you like to sit on the floor?
Oh, yes.
Well then, why don't you?
I will.
Grab a pillow. I can't see you sitting way over there.
I can see you.
Yeah, but that's not fair. I'm right here in the limelight. There you go. Now I can see you. Well, are you comfortable?
Yes, thank you.
So am I. Comfortable as a cow. Mmm. Say, would you care for a piece of chewing gum?
No, thank you.
Oh, well, I think that I will indulge. Gee, think of the fortune made by the guy that invented the first piece of chewing gum. It's amazing, huh? Well, did you know that the Wrigley Building is actually one of the sights of Chicago? I saw it the summer before last, the Century of Progress. Did you take in the Century of Progress?
No, I didn't.
Oh, well, it was a wonderful exposition, believe me. Now, you know what I was most impressed by? The Hall of Science. It teaches you what the future will be like in America. Oh, it's more wonderful than the present day is. Say, your brother tells me you're shy. Is that right, Laura?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, well, I judge you to be an old-fashioned type of girl, and I think that's a wonderful type to be. I hope you don't think I'm being too personal.
Mr. O'Connor.
Yes?
I think I will take that piece of chewing gum, if you don't mind. Mr. O'Connor, have you kept up with your singing at all?
Singing me?
Yes, I remember what a beautiful voice you had.
You heard me sing?
Very often. I don't suppose you remember me at all.
You know, as a matter of fact, I thought that I'd remembered you. Well, when you opened the door, I was about to say your name, but the name I was about to remember, well, it wasn't a name at all, so I stopped myself before I said it.
Wasn't it Blue Roses?
Blue Roses! Blue Roses! Oh, my gosh, yes. I didn't connect you with high school somehow or other, but that's where it was. It was high school. Oh, my. I didn't even know Shakespeare had a sister. Gee, I'm sorry.
I didn't expect you to. You barely knew me.
But we did have a speaking acquaintance.
Yes,
Didn't we have a class and something together?
Yes, we did.
What class was that?
It was singing, chorus.
Oh!
We sat across the aisle from each other every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday in the
Yes,
auditorium.
I remember now. You were always the one that came in late.
Yes, well, it was so hard for me getting upstairs. I had that brace on my leg then. It clumped so loud.
Oh, well, I never even noticed.
To me, it sounded like thunder.
I never heard any clumping.
Everybody was seated by the time I came in. I had to walk in front of all those people. My seat was in the back row. I had to go clumping up the aisle with everybody watching.
Oh, gee, you shouldn't have been so self-conscious.
I know, but I was. It was always such a relief when the singing started.
Well, I remember, and I used to call you Blue Roses, yes. How did I ever get calling you a silly name like that?
I was out of school for a little while with pleurosis, and when I came back, you asked me what the matter was, and I said pleurosis, and you thought I said blue roses. So that's what you always called me after that.
Oh, God, I hope you didn't mind.
Oh, no, I liked it. I wasn't very well acquainted with many people.
Oh, well, yeah, I remember you sort of stuck by yourself.
I never did have much luck making friends.
Well, I don't see why you wouldn't.
Well, I started out badly.
What you mean being?
Yes, it sort of stood between me and...
Well, you mean you were shy with people?
I tried not to be, but I never could...
You couldn't overcome it.
No, I never could.
Yes, well, I guess being shy is something you have to work out of kind of gradually.
Yes, I guess it...
Takes time.
Yes.
You know something, Laura? People are not so dreadful when you get to know them. And that's what you have to remember. And practically everybody has problems, not just you, but everybody has problems. Now, being disappointed, well, that's one thing. Now, I may be disappointed. You take me, for instance, when I left high school, I thought I'd be a lot further along than I am now. Well, you remember that wonderful write-up they had about me and the torch?
Yes, I do.
Said I was bound to succeed in anything I went into. Holy jeez, that's the torch!
Oh. Here you are in the Pirates of Penzance.
The pirates! Oh, better far to live under that brave black flag I fly. Yes, I sang the lead in that operetta.
Yes, so beautifully.
Oh, no.
Beautifully, beautifully.
Oh, you heard me then?
I heard you all 3 times.
No.
Yes.
You mean all 3 performances?
Yes.
What for?
Well, I wanted to ask you to sign my program.
Well, then why didn't you ask me?
Well, you were always surrounded by your own friends,
You
so
should have
much
just walked
so that...
right up to me and said, "Here is my program."
Well, I thought you might think that I
you
was...
might think I was what?
Oh.
Oh. Well, yeah, I was beleaguered by females in those days.
You were terribly popular.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody liked you.
I was spoiled in high school.
Yes, but everybody did like you.
Including you?
Well, yes, I suppose I did too.
Give me that program, Laura. Better late than never.
Ma, what a surprise.
My signature might not be worth very much right now, but someday it may increase in value. Being disappointed. Now, that's one thing. But being discouraged, that's another. Now, I may be disappointed, but I am certainly not discouraged. Say, you finished high school.
I made bad grades on my final examinations.
You mean you dropped out?
I didn't go back. How is Emily Meisenbach getting along?
Oh, that krauthead.
Why do you call her that?
Well, because that's what she was.
You mean you're not still going with her?
I never even see her.
I read in a newspaper once that you were engaged.
Well, yeah, but I don't believe that propaganda.
You mean it wasn't the truth?
It was only true in Emily's optimistic opinion.
Oh.
Well, what have you done since high school?
What?
I said, what have you done since high school?
Oh, nothing much.
Well, you must have been doing something all this time.
Well, yes.
Well then, such as what?
I took a business course at the business college.
Oh, you did? How did that work out?
Well, not very well. I had to drop out. It gave me indigestion.
Well, what are you doing now?
Oh, nothing really. Oh, please don't think I sit around just doing absolutely nothing. I do have my glass collection, which takes up a good deal of my time. Glass is something you have to take very good care of.
Say, you know what I judge to be the trouble with you? Inferiority complex. Do you know what that is? That's when a fella low rates himself. Now, I understand it because I had it too. Oh, yes, until I took up a course in public speaking and developed my voice and learned that I had an aptitude for science. Did you know that until then, I did not think of myself as outstanding in any way whatsoever?
Oh, my.
Now, I don't make a regular study of it, mind you, but I have a friend who tells me I can analyze a person better than doctors who make a profession of it. Now, I don't claim that's necessarily true, but I sure can guess a person's psychology. Excuse me, Laura. I always take it out when the flavor is gone. I'll just wrap it up in this piece of paper. I know what it's like to get it stuck on a shoe. Well, yep, that's what I judge to be the principal trouble. A lack of confidence in yourself as a person. Now, I'm basing this fact on a number of your remarks tonight and certain observations I've made. For example, that clumping you said was so awful in high school. You said you dreaded going upstairs. You see what you did? You dropped out of high school. You gave up an education. All because of a little clump, which as far as I can see, well, it was non-existent. Oh, a little physical defect is all you have? Hardly noticeable even. Magnified 1,000 times by your imagination. You know what my strong advice to you is? You've got to think of yourself as superior in some way.
In what way would I think?
Why, man alive, Laura, look around you. And what do you see? A world full of common people. All of them born and all of them gonna die. Now, which one of them has 1/10 of your strong points? Or mine? Or anybody else's for that matter? You see, everyone excels in some one thing. Well, some in many. Now, you take me, for instance. Now, my interests happen to lie in electrodynamics. I'm taking a night course in radio engineering on top of a fairly responsible job at the warehouse. Now, I'm doing all that and studying public speaking.
Oh,
But because
my.
I believe in the future of television, I want to be right there with it when it goes up. Oh, I'm already getting the right connections. I want to get in on the ground floor. All that's left now is for the industry itself to get underway. Full steam. You know, knowledge. Zip, money, zip, power, wham! That's the cycle democracy is built on. Well, you must think I think a lot of myself.
No, I don't.
Well then, what about you? Isn't there one thing you care about more than anything else in this world?
Yes.
Well then, such as what?
Well, I do, as I said, have my glass collection.
Oh, you do? Well, what kind of glass is it?
Little pieces of it, ornaments mostly. Most of them are little animals made out of glass, the tiniest little animals in the whole world. Mother calls them the glass menagerie. Here's an example of one, if you'd like to see it. He's one of the oldest. He's nearly 13. Oh, be careful, though. If you breathe, he breaks.
Well, then I'd better not take him. I'm pretty clumsy with things.
Go on, I trust you. There. See, you're holding him gently. Oh, hold him up to the light. He loves the light. See how the light shines through him.
Sure does shine.
I know I shouldn't be partial, but he is my favorite one.
Say, what kind of a thing is this one supposed to be?
Haven't you noticed the single horn on his forehead?
Oh, a unicorn, huh? Mm-hmm. Well, unicorns, aren't they extinct in the modern world?
I know.
Well, poor little fella must seem all kind of lonesome.
If he is, he doesn't complain about it. He sits on a shelf with lots of other horses that don't have horns, and they seem to all get along just fine.
Yeah, so they do. Well, say, where'll I put them?
On the table. They all like a change of scenery now and then.
Well, they do. Well, hey, look how big my shadow is when I stretch. Yes!
Oh, yes, it went all the way across the ceiling.
Well, it stopped raining. Say, where does the music come from?
The Paradise Dance Hall across the alley.
How about cutting the rug a little, Miss Wingfield? Or is your program all filled up? Now, let me take a look at it. Let me look. Oh, every dance is taken. I'll just have to scratch some of them out. Ooh, a waltz.
Oh, I can't dance.
There you go with that inferiority stuff.
I've never danced before in my life.
Come on, try.
Oh, but I'll step on you.
Well, I'm not made out of glass.
How do we start?
Well, you just hold your arms up a little.
Like this?
A little bit higher. Well, now don't tighten up. That's the principal thing about it. You just relax.
I don't think you can budge me.
What, do you bet I can't?
Oh. Oh, yes, you can.
Well, now loosen up now, Laura.
I'm trying.
Come on, have fun with it. Loosen up your backbone a little.
I know, but it's so hard.
Okay. There you go, Laura. There you go. Ready. Oh, we knocked the little glass horse over.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Oh, is he broken?
Now he's just like all the other horses.
Oh, you mean he's lost
He's lost his horn. It doesn't matter. Maybe it's a blessing in disguise.
Well, gee, I bet you'll never forgive me. I bet that was your favorite piece.
I don't have favorites. Much. It's no tragedy. Glass breaks so easily, no matter how careful you are. The traffic jars the shelves and things fall off of them.
Well, I'm awfully sorry I was the cause of it.
I'll just pretend that he had an operation. The horn was removed to make him feel less freakish. Now he will feel more at home with all the other horses, the ones that don't have horns.
Well, I'm glad to see you have a sense of humor about it. You know, you're different than anyone else I know. Do you mind me telling you that? Because I mean it. You make me feel sort of, well, I don't know how to say it. I'm usually pretty good at expressing things, but this is something I just don't know how to say. Did anyone ever tell you that you were pretty? Well, you are. But in a different way than anyone else. And all the nicer because of the difference. Oh, boy. I wish that you were my sister. I'd teach you how to have confidence in yourself. Because being different is nothing to be ashamed of. Because other people aren't such wonderful people. They're 100 times 1,000. You're 1 times 1. They walk all over this earth. And you just stay here. They're as common as weeds. And you, well, you're blue roses.
But blue is wrong for roses.
But it's right for you. You're pretty.
In what respect am I
In
pretty?
all respects, Laura. Your eyes, your hair, even your hands are pretty. You think I'm saying this just because I've been invited over to dinner and I have to say something nice. I could do that. I could say a whole lot of things without being sincere. But I'm talking to you sincerely. I happen to notice you had that inferiority complex that kept you from feeling comfortable with people. Someone ought to build your confidence way up and make you feel proud instead of shy and turning away and blushing. Someone ought to kiss you, Laura. Gee, I shouldn't have done that. That was way off the beam. Would you care for a cigarette? Oh no, you don't smoke, do you? Well, peppermint? You want a lifesaver? My pocket's a regular drugstore. Listen, Laura, if I had a sister like you, I'd do the same thing as Tom, and I'd invite home fellas to meet you. Maybe I shouldn't be saying this. Maybe that wasn't the idea in having me over. But what if it was? There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that in my case, I'm not in a position to... I can't ask for your number and say that I'll phone. I can't call you up next weekend and ask for a date. Well, I just thought I'd explain the situation in case you misunderstood and I hurt your feelings.
You mean you won't call again?
No, I can't. See, I've got strings on me, Laura. I've been going steady. I go out all the time with this girl named Betty. Well, she's a nice, quiet homegirl like yourself, and Catholic and Irish. And in a great many ways, we get along fine. I met her on a moonlight boat trip up the river to Alton on the Majestic. Oh boy, right away from the start, it was love. Love has made a new man out of me, I tell you. The power of love is pretty tremendous. It's the kind of thing that changes your whole world. Well, as it happens, Betty's aunt took sick and she had to go up to Centralia, so naturally, when Tom invited me to dinner, naturally I accepted, not knowing. I wish you would say something. What are you doing that for? What do you mean? You want me to have him? What for?
A souvenir.
I'm coming, children. Well, I bet you all would like some refreshments now. You know that lemonade song, Mr. O'Connor? Lemonade, lemonade, stirred in the shade with a spade, good for any old maid.
No, ma'am, I don't know that song.
Laura, why are you so serious?
Well, we were having a serious conversation.
I don't understand young people these days. You know, when I was young, I was gay about everything.
Well, you haven't changed a bit, Mrs. Wingfield.
Well, guess it's the gaiety of the occasion. Well, here's to the gaiety of the occasion.
You shouldn't have gone through all that trouble, ma'am.
It was no trouble at all. Didn't you hear Tom and I cutting it up in the kitchen? I was so outdone that he hadn't brought you here sooner for dinner. But now that you're here, you're going to come back often. Often. Like, what's a good night for you? Saturday?
Oh, well, actually, ma'am, I have a few time clocks to punch in. One in the morning and one at night.
You're very ambitious. You have 2 jobs.
Well, not work, ma'am, but Betty.
Betty. Who's Betty?
Oh, just the girl. Well, the girl I go steady with.
Oh, you mean it's serious?
Well, yes, ma'am. We're going to be married the second Sunday in June.
Tom didn't tell me that you engaged.
Oh, well, the cat's not out of the bag at the warehouse yet. You know how it is. They call you Romeo and that sort of thing. But it's been a wonderful evening, Mrs. Wingfield. I guess this is what's meant by Southern hospitality. I hope you don't feel like I'm rushing out. It's just that Betty, well, she's on her way from Centralia, and by the time my jalopy gets down to the train station, her train will be in, and so, well, some women are pretty upset if you keep them waiting.
Oh, yes, I know all about the tyranny of women. Well, I wish you happiness and success in your life, and you do, Laura, too. Wish him that, right?
Yes, Mother, I do.
Well, goodbye, Laura. I'll treasure the souvenir. And remember the good advice I gave you. Thanks again, ladies. Good night. So long, Shakespeare.
Well, well, well. Things have an awful way of turning out badly. I wouldn't do that, Laura. I wouldn't play that Victrola right now. Tom?
Yes, Mother.
Come here, I want to tell you something. Very funny.
Has our gentleman caller gotten away already?
Well, you didn't mention that he was engaged to be married.
Jim? Engaged?
That's what he informed us.
I'll be jiggered.
Oh, it seems very peculiar.
What is so peculiar about it, Mother?
I think it's peculiar that you didn't know that he was going to be married a friend of yours down at the warehouse.
What is so peculiar about it, Mother? He is my friend, but how would I know?
Because you're with him all the time. He's your best friend, supposedly, being engaged to be married. You know, you don't know things anyway. You just live in a dream. You manufacture illusions. That's all. Where are you going now? Where are you going?
I'm going to the movies, Mother.
Oh, that's right. Just go to the movies now, right? Don't think anything about us. Just make fools of ourselves entertaining some other girl's fiancé. All the effort, all the preparations, all the clothes, everything, just all the expense, and all for what? To entertain some other girl's fiancé? Well, go to the movies then. Don't think about us, a mother deserted, a sister who is crippled and doesn't have a job. Just go. Don't let anything interfere with your selfish pleasures. Just go to the movies. Go. Go.
All right. I will. And the more you talk to me about my selfish pleasures, the quicker I'll go, and I won't go to the movies either.
Just go to the moon, you selfish dreamer! Go to the moon!
I didn't go to the moon. I went much farther. For time is the longest distance between two places. I left St. Louis. I descended these steps of this fire escape for the last time and followed from then on in my father's footsteps, attempting to find in motion what was lost in space. I traveled around a great deal. The city swept about me like dead leaves, leaves that were brightly colored but torn away from their branches. I would have stopped, but I was pursued by something. It came upon me unawares, taking me altogether by surprise. Perhaps it was a familiar bit of music. Perhaps it was only a piece of transparent glass. Perhaps I am walking along a street at night in some strange city before I have made companions, and I pass along the lighted window of a shop where perfume was sold. The windows filled with pieces of colored glass, tiny transparent bottles in delicate colors, just like bits of a shattered rainbow. And all at once, my sister touches my shoulder. I turn around and I look into her eyes. Laura, I tried to leave you behind me, but I am more faithful than I intended to be. I reach for a cigarette, I cross the street, I run into a movie or a bar, I buy a drink, I speak to the nearest stranger, anything that'll blow your candles out. So nowadays, the world is lit by lightning. Blow out your candles, Lord. And so, goodbye.
Parting all the ways, you took all my happy days and left me lonely nights. Morning never comes too soon, I can face the afternoon, but oh, those lonely nights. I feel your arms around me, your kisses linger yet. You taught me how to love you, now teach me to forget. You broke my heart a million ways when you took my happy days and left me lonely now.